Hello, my name is D. Anderson.
He's with Gabriel Negrete.
Off to Greece.
That's right.
Yeah, so. You remember anything?
So far, they have nothing for Chase as to who killed him and whatnot. Tate is getting closer with Kate, and that's about it.
Kaya?
Oh, Kaya.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're getting closer. Basically, last chapter, Tate offered to teach her how to read. She accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So, chapter 16 is called Reading, and it's 1960. And then, basically, it's been a while since their last interaction. So, and Kai, gets lonely, so she feels like going to Jumpin's wharf or like place and hoping to like catch Mabel and talk with her.
Mm-hmm.
So as she goes over there, as Kyle goes to Jumpin's place, she sees two white boys harassing Jumpin, who's black.
Oh, okay.
You can just imagine the insults and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then they get physically violent, picking up a rock and throwing at him. But Jumpin just kind of ignores it and he goes on his merry way. So, and Kai is angry because like she knows that the words they say were bad. Kai may not be school smart or whatnot, but she still, she can understand bad things. She knows context clues and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the words that the boy said were not good words because her dad used those words too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And she's angry because Jumpin didn't do anything, and she knows Jumpin can, attack those boys, like beat them up, no problem.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. So in an act of love, or like Karen's, she attacks those boys, and she basically gets revenge for Jumpin, even though Jumpin probably didn't want that or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, and it goes to show like not all acts of love are
Peaceful.
yeah, some of them are pretty violent. So then the next day follows, and then Tate finally comes up and teaches Kaya how to read. And after like they're finishing their lessons, Kaya asks it like, where does he live and who he lives with, and he's like, oh, I live at Barkley Cove with my dad.
Mm.
And Kaya picks up on that he kind of said only his dad and not anyone else. And she starts to think like, hey, this boy, he's like me in that he only lives with his dad, and that his mom probably left him like her mom did, which is
something they can relate to.
Yeah, but it's also messed up in a way that they can bond. Like she thinks like
That's how they bond.
No, it's in a way that like, hey, almost like if your mom isn't with you, that means they left you.
Oh.
And not that any other way, like, oh, did your mom die or something? Like, oh, your mom left you.
Oh, okay.
Just like mine did.
I see.
That sucks. Just imagine that though, bonding over like losing your mom or like your mom abandoning you.
Yeah.
But nah. And then she sees that and like Kai wants to comfort him by like holding his hand, but doesn't, because maybe she's afraid to like grow too attached to him. And then um after that Kai goes home and then thinks about why Tate wants to help white trash like her, but she does it because in a fear of offending him or like angering him, that maybe not like seeing him ever again. She doesn't, which is also messed up because of that's some serious abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Because like that's not your first thought when you feel like asking. You shouldn't be afraid of asking someone like why they're helping you, just out of genuine curiosity. But oh man, those mommy issues, right?
Yeah.
So after finally figuring out how to read, or like understanding and like more about reading, she basically goes into her family Bible, and in the Bible she sees like her family's real names. They've been using like nicknames and whatnot. And she hasn't really ever like known their real names.
Mm.
And in a also kind of sweet and sad thing, she can start remembering their faces.
But not their names.
No, she knows their names, but like she can put like the names to the faces.
Oh.
And it's been so long for them, right? For Kai to like know her or remember her siblings' faces, because like the last time she seen them was when they left her.
So none of them ever came back? Damn.
Yeah, just imagine that your whole family leaves you
Basically.
with an abuser. So
It means to question whether they actually did love her.
yeah, but then we get more into Ma and Pa's history, as you might or might not remember. Pa was screwed over real hard by the Great Depression.
Hmm.
I lost everything, and then he and he loses every like before that, right? He was this cool, confident and fit person, and he was like trying to get with Ma by saying, "Hey, I got this. I own this big plantation, and then I'm gonna finish school and become a lawyer and get basically get this big mansion." That doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, he gets poor.
Yeah, he goes for it, and then that plantation that his ancestors had in like owning slaves, he works with those slaves that his grandparents would have owned, like great grandparents, you know?
Yeah.
An ironic kind of twist of fate. Fate's cruel, man.
For him especially, though.
Yeah. So after that, Paul steals from his parents. He steals his parents' treasures, family treasures, pawns them off for money, and then what's it called? He goes over to New Orleans to swoon over mom by taking her to nice places, rich places, and convincing her to like basically move to North Carolina with him.
Mm.
Wait, no, that's way before. I'm ahead. My bad. They basically live in this garage apartment kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So, and then they get married, and Paul tries to like rebuild his life by working for his father-in-law, thinking that he might get a manager's job, but he has to work his way up.
So like no special treatment or nothing.
No special treatment. You work like everyone else.
Oh, okay.
And then he goes back to high school, but he gets kicked out of high school because he basically skipped school to play poker and get drunk, and then so this is the thing way before um, basically going to war,
Mm.
as we've seen before, and that's sad because like you can also like it's been a while because like even before Kyle has been born, so like 6 to 7 years before her mom left her, right? She's been dealing with this drunk way before her.
Yeah.
So after like basically failing, and he only ever got like promoted once,
Once?
just once.
Damn.
Yeah. So what's it called? Pa joins World War II, hoping to get some glory or whatnot, hoping to
Get his dignity back or something?
yeah, there you go, win back his dignity, but he doesn't. He basically gets like he gets treated as a hero even though he didn't do anything because they were being murdered by mortar.
Yeah.
And while these soldiers went to go help out a sergeant, he stayed in the foxhole. And you could say almost like a coward, but you kind of want to live during that time.
Yeah.
You can't really help people if you're dead. But while he was in the whole foxhole, he basically got hit. He got his leg got obliterated by shrapnel. And then while the soldiers came back, they were like, "Oh, you were trying to help some people, weren't you? You're a hero." While he wasn't.
Yeah, it was being cowardly.
Yeah, but like, imagine you be cowardly too, trying to be I'm trying to get blown up by a burger.
I wouldn't put myself in such a situation though.
Yeah, but it's a kind of awkward situation, you know.
Yeah.
So okay, and then he basically convinces Ma to like go live in North Carolina to like basically rebound in a
Mm.
way, but uh, they don't like because they see like once they get back to the old cabin, Pa like says that used to be a vacation cabin. It was pretty bad.
Oh.
It was like a pretty shitty house,
Mm-hmm.
and like Ma tears up seeing it. But he's like, don't worry.
Damn.
Yeah. And then, and then he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna fix it up. He never fixes it up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But Maud tries to do her best, and then uh, Jake also wants to do best. Paul's name, real name. Well, not real name, kind of nickname, but every time he like kind of thinks about that, like finishing about high school and whatnot, he also remembers about that, foxhole and being like kind of PTSD thing is just,
Mm.
you know what they say, try to drown your sorrows with the below the bottle or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And then chapter 17 is called Crossing the Thresholds. Basically, still 1960s, but social services. Well, Jumping warns kind of like, hey, watch out. Social services is coming for you. And Kai says, and it's also like basically Jumping acting like a father, like someone looking out for Kaya, you know?
Yeah. I'm like a family figure.
hmm And because of social services coming after her, she tells to say like, hey, maybe we should, you know, can we go somewhere else? And he's like, yeah, sure, but like, why? Wouldn't you like want to? You should go with social services, you know, like uh, the people there can take care of you there. But then Kai says, would you rather go with social services before living in the marsh? He said, he's like, all right, let's go.
All right.
And he's like, all right, so let's go to where the crawdads sing.
Mm.
You know what that means?
No.
It's basically a saying where like where nature is still being nature, and then
Oh, well, like it hasn't been tainted.
yeah.
Okay.
So then after that, it's their own little secret, intimate place.
Mm.
So after Kaya learns more from books tape rings. And then Kaya reads from a poem, right? That that feels like a message from Ma because she goes through like a poem book that her mom used to had, and then she had like numbers and like pictures that were her favorite.
Oh.
And then Kaya trusts Tate to bring her home, because like that's her intimate place in a way. Like you wouldn't trust people to,
Random people, especially with her abandonment issues.
yeah. So Tate like knows it's probably a big deal, but he doesn't make it a big deal.
Mm.
So after that, Kaya reads a poem about love, and then she giggles about it, thinking her and Tate like dance around, but then she stops. It's one of those. Wouldn't it be funny if we did this?
Like what ifs, but because of this, no.
Yeah,
Oh.
like wouldn't it be funny with this? Unless you want to. But yeah, and then Kaya basically goes to Jumpins and Mabel's, and they give her more, supplies and gifts.
Mm.
And then, kind of like a foreshadowing, they give her a bra, and she blushes about it. But like, don't worry about it, man. You're becoming a woman. It's all natural.
Yeah.
And speaking of becoming a woman, she basically gets these stomach cramps, and they're worse than usual, and she has to pull aside.
Her period.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Tate comes over. Just imagine having your first period with Tate, your crush being coming over. So that happens, and then obviously not knowing about periods that much, that would have come with knowledge from having a mother, but she doesn't, so she has to turn to Mabel, which isn't a bad thing, it's a friend.
Yeah.
She could teach you. And they're giving her gifts and whatnot, so they obviously care for her.
Mhm.
And then Jumpin leaves his post for after, because like for 50 years, right? Jumpin never leaves his like post, and he only did it once because he lost his. They say his little Daisy, but probably a precious family dog or an actual daughter.
Mhm.
So, um, that's the only time he's ever leave it, and he's willing to leave his post again for Kaya. So
Yeah.
he obviously cares deeply enough for her to do something as drastic as that for him.
Yeah, because it shows his dedication to that store as well.
Yeah, and that amount of but the severity of the situation and whatnot
Mhm.
that has to happen for him to leave.
Yeah.
So, and after that, getting a clue of what might be happening, Mabel has basically a bag and tells Kai like, "Oh, don't you worry about it, man." Basically, gives her more knowledge about being a woman or like having woman. It sounds messed up saying woman problems, but it is.
Her puberty.
Yeah, her pure. There you go. God, make it sound worse than it is. And then after Kai basically wants to hide from Tate, but he kind of, in a way, he unknowingly bribes her with cake
Oh.
because she hasn't had cake ever since like that. Probably one time she went to a diner with Paula. That was like when she was 7. And then Kai asks Tate like, in a leap of faith, in a way, like she asks her like, "Why do you want to help me?" And then Tate gives like half-hearted answers like, It's fun talking with you because you know a lot about the marsh and whatnot." But then it goes deeper into why Tate wants to help her because Tate feels sorry for her because like she's 15, like almost she's like 14, 15, right?
Mm.
And she still doesn't know how to read and doesn't know what comes after like 29.
Oh.
But she knows a lot about the marsh.
Yeah.
You give up some knowledge to gain some other knowledge. And then also how he kind of wants to protect her because the boys are like, he kind of harass her home and like doing like a stupid ritual to become men or whatnot.
Mm.
But the boys are also making bets on who's gonna pick her cherry.
I see.
Jackasses.
Yeah.
And then, but also because like he also wants to take care of her because like he thinks almost as of her as a sister. But there's also that fiery passion for for loving a girl,
Yeah. So he wants a wife.
It's conflicting,
Yeah.
because if you say it like that, right, he almost thinks of her as a sister, but he's willing to make his sister out a wife out of his sister.
He's into that stepsister situation.
I guess. And then, but they also bond over losing mothers. Tate saying that, "Oh, I lost my mother because I wanted a bike from this one place, and my mom basically they went to go over to get that bike, but they died in a car crash, losing both his mother and sister."
Mm.
And he kind of feels like a murderer in a way because he wanted that bike and whatnot, and his mom and sister went to go get it for him as a birthday, but they died because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's called. It's not It's something like Survivor's Guilt,
I don't know what it's called either, but yeah.
something like that. But and then Kaya says like, "Oh, my mom left me too," or like my mom left, and it also kind of like a messed up way. Like, hey man, at least you kind of wish your mom can come back.
Yeah.
But
His mom can't come back.
yeah, but it's still messed up, because like Kai got abandoned,
Mm.
and you can't go say like, "Hey man, at least you can wish your mom comes back." I can't do that.
Yeah.
But he stopped. He's like, "Oh my bad,"
Mm.
'Cause that's honestly a messed up thing to do. Oh yeah, what would you say?
No, that's messed up.
And then after a while, in a romantic scene, the autumn leaves are blowing and whatnot, almost like they're flying,
Mm.
and they dance around the leaves and whatnot, trying to catch some leaves before they fall, just messing around. But then Tate stops to see Kaya as a woman, and then he basically grabs her shoulders and hesitates a bit before going in for the kiss. And then he kind of asks her, like, what are they now, boyfriend and girl? He's like, sure, but you know, you might be kind of young. But she's like, she almost says like, I know feathers more than those girls at your school know about feathers, saying that she's kind of more mature than them, you know,
Hmm.
which is probably kind of true. But she's also kind of 15 and he's 19. And
Not too much of an age gap.
no, but you know, he can still kind of take advantage of her, you know.
Hmm.
But even then, he's like, all right, then they become boyfriend and girlfriend. So chapter 18, right? Yeah, chapter 18, White Canoe, still 1960. It start off with math lessons, and then Tate pulls out some cake and presents for Kaya. And no one's wished Kaya basically happy birthday and given her gifts before. They never get. No one has told her happy birthday before her mom left.
Hmm.
And then, so it's been like almost like a decade that she hasn't been wished happy birthday, and here comes Tate, you know, just giving out for free,
Yeah.
and then giving her like I think probably the first time in her life presents. So after that, Tate basically has after working with his dad Scupper, they go over to a diner for dinner because they're tired.
Hmm.
And then Scupper tells them like, "Hey, I seen that you haven't gone. I don't want to pull you away from like your last high school years, and are you gonna take a girl out to the dance or whatnot?" He's like, "Nah, none of the girls that." Tate goes like, "They're too childish, like they're talking about hair, like doing their hair and basically wearing high heels." And like Scupper's like, "Yeah, but like they're girls, that's what most girls are gonna do."
Hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna go." And he's like, and Scupper tells him like, "Hey, I've been hearing that you've been talking with the Marsh girl and whatnot, and I don't believe the rumors that they say about her. She's probably a nice, fine girl, but don't you go starting a family too young? You got accepted into college with like a scholarship or something like that."
Hmm.
But that Tate's like, first you say you don't believe the rumors that they're saying, but then you go telling me that I shouldn't go start a family with her, and you're kind of saying that she's a bad type of girl, or
So he's like contradicting himself.
yeah,
He could also be saying that maybe get stable before starting a family.
yeah, because it'd be a messed up thing to do, get a girl pregnant and dip.
Yeah.
And then kind of that's what Tate's Scupper is like, hold on, man. I'm just saying this is my job. I'm your dad, and saying that, hey, basically don't do something that you might regret.
Yeah.
So Tate basically rolls his eyes and says whatever. Then after that, Kai and Tate spend Christmas together, and after having a nice Christmas dinner, they get a little dirty.
I see.
They get a little foreplay-ish, but
Yeah.
it doesn't go beyond that. Then after that, they spend some more time together looking at bullfrogs, and then Tate has those urges again. And because like before that, Tate's imagining Kaya, and it sounds like weird saying like he basically and thinks about doing the deed with her.
Yeah.
So that's that conflict, and they almost do the deed because like Kaya's basically bare naked, and then Tate stops himself, and Kaya questions like, "Hey, why'd you stop?" He's like, "I can't hurt you, and I can't hurt myself. I can't start a family right now,
Mm.
because like I love you too much to hurt you." And Kaya like she's like she doesn't understand. She's kind of confused by that word, love, because she hasn't. She's known like the love she's been shown before. She can barely remember, and the love she got from her dad was like gone. And then so so she doesn't understand like that he's doing this for her.
Mm-hmm.
And also because like it's kind of a nice thing for T to do because like he's not trying to take advantage of her. He's like, hey man, gotta
Yeah.
stop myself. Don't want to do anything too bad. So after that, Tate basically drops the bomb that he's going to college and whatnot. which
Oh,
sucks for Kai because that's that Venom and it's just gonna come in again.
I can see how that goes.
Because like even now, right? Like long distance relationships are hard.
Yeah, and they don't have phones like that, do they?
They don't. It's 1960, bro.
Yeah.
Letters is nice and all, but
Mm.
but we can only. Oh yeah, and then chapter 19, not much happens. Basically, still a investigation. Chase's mom basically is gonna go over and talk with the police,
Uh
and
huh.
then what's it called? Talk about how Chase doesn't have his basically necklace shell that he had. That's not really important to the thing. Well, it's important, but
Yeah.
that's about it. Not important to the theme of love. So, what do you think? How is this gonna go down?
Maybe the murderer has the necklace. That's about it.
And what about take on the college?
Oh, I think he's gonna end up leaving.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, most likely.
It's become a theme, a running theme for Kai to be basically left behind,
Yep.
which sucks.
Yeah,
Well. So, what do you think so far?
it's a good story.
Yeah, but so it's almost not like a story. It's like a tragedy.
Tragic story.
Yeah, but anything else?
No, that's about it.
I will. Until next time.